It's 8:45. On the line, Tanya J. Powers. This story, very interesting. I saw this yesterday. In Mississippi, the House has now passed a bill requiring teachers to grade parents. What is going on in this one here, Tanya?
Well, it has passed the House 75 to 43. It now goes to the Senate, so it's not a law yet. But boy, it's getting a lot of attention. Here's how it breaks down. If a school district is graded on its annual evaluation by the Department of Education of Mississippi, if it gets a C or below for the district, they would have to put these measures into place. It's not optional. If they got an A or a B, it is optional. The school district can decide, okay, we want to do this anyway, but they don't have to. Here are a few of the things that are in this that would have to be implemented if this becomes law. Each child would have mandatory homework. They would be taught proper manuscript and cursive handwriting. They would have a daily reading and separate writing assignment. They'd have to read at least a book a month and write a book report on it. Their school uniforms would be mandated, too, by the way.
Wow.
And a dress code for teachers. Let's don't forget that part.
Wow.
This is the parent part that's getting a lot of attention. It would mandate participation for parents in at least one function for the school, like working the concession stand at a football game or an athletic event, assisting at the bus stop,
this is
parent-teacher association, things like that.
I think this is unconstitutional. Can they do this?
That is what a lot of people are asking, and that's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to it. I'd love to find out, though, because it does seem quite interesting, and there are some people who say it's just downright absurd that putting grades on parental involvement is not the way to improve a school. A lot of parents don't appreciate it, and by the way, these are parents, some of them I know personally, that do not want to. They're already involved in the school and doing volunteer work. They don't want to be. They don't want to be told they have to.
That you have to do it. Yeah. The other thing is cursive. By the way, is gone. I hate to say it. Many schools are just getting rid of. They're not even teaching cursive anymore.
Tanya, what happens though if a parent gets a failing grade?
That's a good question. You know, I have been combing over all 9 pages of this bill. Yeah. Nine pages, y'all. And it's very detailed as to what they want them to do, but I haven't seen anything. You know, I don't see where they're going to haul them to parent court or anything. I'm not really sure the answer to that.
Well, you know, it is when you look at the. I mean, listen, I know Common Core is a big problem, and it's turned very politicized. But when the Republican governors first crafted this concept, it was because of states like Mississippi, where the education system is not performing up to par. And I understand what they're trying to do, but boy, it does seem like they're really trying to.
You know, I hate this. For some reason, this is what the thought that came to my mind. This is just a built-in excuse down the road. So some kid robs a bank or he goes to jail when he's 20 or 30, and they look back at school records and they say, well, listen, when Johnny was in high school, his mom and dad got a D- for parent involvement. Yeah. They didn't volunteer at the concession stands, and it really put him on the wrong track.
Listen, I believe in New York, Tanya. If you don't show up
that one got me.
If you don't show up for your kid's baseball game, the county comes and takes your kids away. I'm pretty sure.
Are we certain of this?
Well, maybe. It might be true.
All right.
I feel that way, though. God forbid. There's 2 things that happen. A, that'll happen if you don't show up. And B, if you win the 50-50 and you don't give it back, they boo you out of the place. It's terrible. Oh, you got to give the money back up here. I don't know what it is.
It's really tough. Yeah, Tanya.
They start chanting, give it back.
Yeah.
You have touched a nerve on us today, Tanya.
I apparently have. I didn't, especially on a Friday. This is.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's passed the House, but it has not passed their Senate yet. So chances are it won't pass, I assume.
I don't know. It passed 75 to 43 in the House. I kind of wonder what's going on, but you know, some of the teachers are saying, "Look, we've got enough to do with grading the kids. We don't have time to keep grading the parents."
How are you going to grade the parents? All right, Tanya, thanks so much. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
Isn't that what the Department of Social Services is supposed to do?
I guess, right? This is ridiculous.
Maybe they don't have that.
Well, I kind of understand what's being talked about, because when there was this whole process of grading the teachers are saying, I have some students who have not a parent at home to help them. And there's nobody helping them with homework. The kids don't do their homework.
Spend a little time in family court, Bill. Anybody
Joe, I've been there.
You spend some time in family court. You're sitting there and you're dealing with neglect, parent neglect, and things like that.
And you wonder, how does that kid ever get a shot in life? Right?
I'm telling you right now, You see things that go on in family court, and you're just saying to yourself, these children do not have a chance.
I know. Yeah.
So
I think everybody should go to family court before they get married.
You're probably right, and probably have to sit through a birth.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know about that.
I think they should.
No,
that would have changed
the mother
life for
giving
me.
birth may have a problem with that.
Yeah,
but,
you're probably right. All right, Susie. Here comes Mrs. Johnson's 5th grade class. Oh, Lordy.
It's Michael from the meat counter at
Hallmark.
Walmart.
Oh, Lordy.
Obviously, that was a
I had a line
man.
there, but I think it would have been too disgusting, so I'm not even going to say it. Okay, so
Move on.
I have something here that is really, I think is big news, but I think it's going to end up being bad news for us, and I want to dig in and find out. Okay, and maybe, Joe, maybe you know the answer to this.
I doubt
I have
it.
saved this for the entire morning. I have it now.
Okay, I'm ready.
So, what kind of sarcasm is that?
I
Is that
wasn't being
sarcasm?
sarcastic. It was exciting.
We're going to run out of time before you get to the story.
Chuck Schumer announced yesterday that Sherrill Manufacturing. You familiar with what Sherrill Manufacturing is?
Is that in Sherrill?
It is. Sherrill Manufacturing took over the Oneida Silver complex.
Yeah.
And they have, 30 employees. But you have, a dozen or so, 15, 20 flatware makers, forks, spoons, knives, all that stuff. Flatware makers across the country. And they all say made in the USA.
Right.
Turns out only one is made in the USA, and it is this company in Sherrill. Is the only one now in America that can say their flatware is made in the United States.
I would believe that.
Now,
But
where I think this makes me kind of wonder, and I've heard some things that have gone on at Utica Cutlery. Now, you know they're right on the arterial.
Mm-hmm.
Right there is that big complex where they made forks and knives and spoons and all sorts of cutlery right here in Utica. It's called
they
Utica.
still do.
Do they? Therein lies the question. Are they still making the product here in Utica? That's what this whole bill is about. And they're saying that the only one that can say it in the United States is out in Sherrill.
Well, I don't know enough about it, but I know that they make specialty knives and things like that. So I do know that they make certain
here still.
Yeah.
Are they still made here?
Yeah.
Okay.
maybe there's
That's why I think we got to get somebody on from there, Andrew.
a difference between your typical dinnerware, your forks, knives, spoons, whatever, versus specialty knives, steak knives. Maybe there is a difference in that, the way they're
Could be.
classified.
Here's a little quiz for you all, though. This conversation we're having here right now, we're kind of implying that maybe Utica Cutlery has moved some of those local jobs and they've outsourced. So it's an outsourcing thing. Now, Jim Zecca has made a statement. Anybody want to guess what it was? Manaski, you can't play.
Trump would be against it.
Trump would be against it. What's at fault? Anybody? And he's probably right. It's NAFTA.
Yeah,
So
well,
since
NAFTA's wrecked manufacturing
It has,
in
yeah.
the United States.
See, everything just gets out. You can't blame a corporation when they're looking at what they pay versus what they could pay, how little they could pay for their shareholders.
Well, but I heard that in China the wages have gone up now.
Well, there's a
$15 an hour.
Yeah,
No.
20.
No. But
No,
the
just kidding.
fact is, though, that it is what has happened in the United States is going to happen in
Everywhere. They just
everywhere.
keep moving it to
will
places.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
it's
happens.
cheaper. So, and Zecca said as well, only specialty flatware at Utica Cutlery. No more flatware in Utica. Sad face.
That is sad because there were a lot of great employees there.
They still have employees,
They
and
do.
they're still here, and they still pay taxes,
They
and they're
do.
still part of the community. So, what okay, they had to adapt. What would you rather have them do? It doesn't make sense to me, Bill. Sorry. I think it's great that they make the stuff in Sherrill, and I like that. But
Your Honor, can the attorney stop badgering the witness here, please?
I'm telling you,
You're right.
I
let me come back to that point because this comes into that whole buy local thing, and we really support buy local.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you have a chain that comes in and they're paying people and they're paying managers and they're paying employees, they're paying taxes to be here. They're a part of the economy. We have to be careful about not going too far with buy local. Because there's still businesses in the area that have invested in the area.
And not only that, but they've been a part of this community for I can't tell you how
Utica
long.
Cutlery,
right? Yeah.
So right now, though, it seems that the only one that can claim that it's made in the U.S. is these people in Cheryl.
If they're doing specialty stuff local, that still
big.
matters. Yeah,
I'm thinking, let's get them on and let's promote those items. I think there's something to be learned from all of this that we can do next week. Plus, it's like we'll have something to do on Monday. We're always scrambling on Sunday night. What are we going to do?
Yeah,
now we'll know. Hold on, we'll come right back. 8:55 at WIBX.